Hey everyone, so a bit different today, but I've been playing a ton of Teamfight Tactics on the PB and now it's finally out. A question I get asked a lot are what comps are good and what should I build for? A lot of this game is adapting to what you get given in your roles, but these are 5 of the best comps to try and build at release. If you have any other team comps or you want me to make a tier list video for the game, then let me know down below, and if you have any feedback, let me know that as well. We're going to start with one of the easiest and one of my favorites, which is Wild Shapeshifters. The win condition is really buffing a carry with lots of attack speed, a big front line, and then the crowd control to win your fights. Nidley and Woik are one of the strongest early game starts anyway because you get the double wild together, and it makes it really easy to use. You can play with normal tanks to start with, so you like your Garen, your Kassadin, your Darius, and stuff like that first, and then swap to everything else later. The core of this is only 5 units, right? 4 wild and Shyvana for the Shapeshifter, so it's actually pretty easy to build. Nidley is a really good secondary carry, while primary carry for most of the game, and then it swaps to somebody else. And Nar gets too tanky and has a huge ultimate. Another brawler, which is why I've chucked in Cho'Gath, is really good to synergize with Woik and keep them both alive. Even though we do have a Nidley to do some damage anyway, it's a really good idea to have a bit of a better late game carry, so like a Draven, for example, or Aurelion Sol fit into this really well. Item wise, if you're looking at Draven or Aurelion Sol, it's a really good idea to get a Rage Blade, Spear, and Bloodthirst or Rapid Fire, something like that, and it can help a ton. Obviously on Aurelion, something like a Death Cap can be really good as well. By the way, if you aren't sure about all of these origins and classes that we're talking about, that's completely fine, right? Mobalytics have a wiki with all of it in one place, plus item combos and tier lists and stuff like that. This is what I've been using in game. Since you can't find it anywhere at the moment, you can't find out what items transform into others, I'll link it down below, but it really definitely helps. One of my other favorite team comps to run is Yordles. So the win condition is really having like a Tristana blast everybody at the back and then Gnar at the front while dodging 50% of the attacks. Gunslingers are better now, and most people don't want to play them either, which makes them very easy to get because people aren't taking them out of the pool. Tristana and Graves are pretty potent, especially with the right items. So Spear and Rage Blade for Tristana means a huge amount of bombs, and Red Buff and Titanic Hydra means AoE burn for Graves, which massively increased how good he actually is. It can be kind of hard to find pieces for the Yordles, but the key is not to force it too early. Use your normal tanks to start with and then slowly transition into 3. So normally like Tristana, Lulu, and something else. When you have Nard 2-star, that is a time to really dedicate to 6 usually, and it can frontline pretty well. One of the harder comps we can use, but one of the best, is Noble and Glacial. So it's not that hard to get, but it requires very certain pieces. The win condition is the Noble synergy late game that makes the team so difficult to kill with the armor and the healing. Lots of crowd control here, a big front line, and good protection for your damage at the very back. It's very easy to start with this. Garen, Fiora, and Vayne are all 1 cost, and that gives you the Noble passive, the 3-1, and that can win you early rounds 100% with the armor buff at that point. If you build a few extra tanky units, start putting items on Vayne as well, and then you slowly swap in the Nobles as you get them. The issue can be that you need to find a Kayle before this comp really works out, and she is legendary, but until then you can run 3 or 4 Nobles with Glacial. High attack speed items for Vayne works wonders in this comp. Rage Blade is almost necessary, a Rapid Fire, and then either healing like a Bloodthirster or something, another Rage Blade, or even Titanic for the splash. I've seen a few people try that and it works pretty well. Glacial Rangers is another comp that I like for Rangers, which is similar to the last one, but not around Nobles at all. So the win condition is Ashe really more now, and Vayne as well, demolishing everybody from the back line with tons of crowd control. Ashe is amazing at the moment. Her ultimate stuns, and when you put these items on her, so like a Rapid Fire Cannon and a Spear of Sojin, she ends up firing her arrows out quicker from further away, which stuns for longer. Early game, you really want to play for the Noble buff again, still, and just try to get a 3-star Vayne as soon as possible, similar to before. This time though, you slowly replace them with a huge front line in Sejuani and Volibear. Cho'Gath is also really good for more crowd control and the Brawler passive, and Lissandra will round out your 4 Glacials. This is actually quite easy to play for. It's only 6 units as well, which isn't too bad, so you have at least 2 spare as well. If you go for 6 Glacials, it's basically game over. The crowd control is way too much, but it can be very hard to find, or you can use a spatula to turn somebody into a Glacial, and that works as well. You can actually even get Bran and Kennen for the Elementalist here if you wanted to, so there are quite a few options to kind of round out the comp. Now, last up, we're going to talk about Void Assassins. A bit harder to build, but it's really, really fun. The win condition is buffing up your Rengar or Akali with items and then watching them tear through everyone. Those are the 2 assassins that kind of scale the best. You're just going to start with like a lot of Kassadins and Kha'Zix anyway, and it's very easy to start building it. It's also very easy to stop building this, actually, which sounds kind of weird, but if it's not working, you can transition into something else, which really helps. Pyke is a really good choice now with the crowd control for assassins, plus Cho'Gath's huge knock-up, so you're not going to die instantly, and you actually have some kind of crowd control to back you up. The extra one you can run is Brawler, so Rek'Sai like bonus health to her and Cho'Gath, and ideally you want damage items on Akali like Ludens or Deathcap, and Rengar, Spear of Sojin is really good, plus Infinity Edge or maybe even Warmocks to survive a bit longer. So this is my first attempt at sort of a TFT guide, I guess, so please let me know what you think of it. Any feedback is really appreciated. Thank you for watching until the very end, but for now, I will leave you with robots.